Hi everybody, this is Adam from REH in Sydney, Reline Equipment Hire, and welcome to this tutorial of a guided 3D inversion shot. So what that means is it's actually guided by a rope that's already in the drain, which allows us to go up square junctions, choose individual inlets, go up stack pipes, and what it does, it gives us a means of taking control of that point of inversion and directing it the way we want it to go, as opposed to just following the normal travel of the pipe. So in this case study, we're using a ProFlex 4x6 transitional liner, and that's coupled with a 6-inch stitched clear callets medium duty with I think it's a 1.2 bar max pressure and an 80-degree max temperature. And I like to use lots and lots of oil. As you can see, the shot area where we're shooting from is very tight access. So let's get started. So you can see the liner coming through. This is a slab repair coming into the drain. This is coming into 6-inch, and the rope inside of the liner is being spat out from the central point of inversion. So currently I'm at high pressure and going in slow because I want that 6-inch liner, or the 3D liner should I say, to touch the side of the walls. I don't want to go in underinflated. That's the last thing I want to do, because I want to make sure I'm fully touching the sides and getting all that resin into the cracks. Now, this property was in Stanmore, 100-year-old drain, and for some reason they'd gone through 3 capped off slope junctions, and the upstream shot was just a no-go. It started off in a powder room with a very fancy vanity, and it just wasn't an option, and they'd had an existing renovation with plastic at the upstream, so the only access really was a back-to-wall pan with multiple 90s embedded in the wall, and there was a clear out at the bottom. It was underneath a fancy vanity, and that's what we used to pull our guide rope. So normally I would go with a smaller middle liner rope. That's the rope that's being spat out. But for this occasion, we've gone with a 1-ton RSM strapping lay flat because the pull was so hard. He was Alan, fair play to him, from Bayside Plumbing, big kahunas, so congratulations taking this job on. He was on his hands and knees and he was pulling inch by inch trying to get the rope to go the way we wanted. So yeah, as you can see here, we've met our first slope junction. That's a 6x6. When the 3D liners are in 6-inch pipe and they're fully expanded, they're actually quite difficult because the force behind that inversion is quite strong. So as you can see here, we're trying to get it round. I'm deflating for Alan, and then I'm telling him via phone, both on loudspeaker. He's got connectivity to the CX9. Not CX9, so that's a Mazda, silly sausage. To the rigid CS, I don't know, the rigid anyway. It's connected. We're both connected, and that is critical, because especially on a shot like this, because we need to be able to control that turn and that pull up the junction. You can do them with just the eyes on the rope, and then I would have to marry up the speed of the inversion off the drum with the rope. But for this particular one, because of the risk factors, and as you can see, even with eyes on it, I'm struggling to get it to go up. So yeah, we're about to see it come round. It does get easier than this. It does come, and the trick is when you're putting these in, try not to get resin on the camera. Don't let the liner catch up with the camera, so you need to be communicating at all times. You want that rope to be pulled nice and steady and with no slack ever. Now for Alan this day it was very difficult, so I was onto it. What you don't want is the liner to overrun the guide rope or the rope that's being spat out. because if that happens, if you quit, you can stop, deflate, and if it's not gone meters over, you can just deflate, let it deflate, and pull it out, and then start again. So as you can see, we're on our merry way again now. So the next junction we're going to come up is a 6x4. Now, the way I like to do it is I'll get about a meter away from the junction with the camera, and then I pull the camera around, and I just pull it back. I pull it up the junction about a meter because I need perspective, because the only way to gauge it now is by the strapping going around the apex of the inlet. So as you can see now, it's coming towards me. And I'm going to get that camera back up the inlet, and then I'll watch it blind, but with the strapping as an indicator. And the key to it when you're doing these is marrying up that speed with that strapping, because if your inversion's going and that strapping's not moving, that means you're overrunning, and that's when you have to stop and rectify things. So here it comes. This is, see, there was a bit of connectivity issue with the camera, then it just jumped, but luckily we haven't gone too far. Well, it's capped anyway, so we couldn't. We just deflate, and then he's going to drag it up. But by this time, whenever you do these shots, be aware that you have to pull resin into your pull area. Now, he had a couple of apprentices. We had it decked out with plastic. We had it rolling into into buckets, but still get your ethanol, get your sugar soap ready, get all your microfiber cloths, get ready to clean, guys. And again, that's where we went for the uprated strapping. So we're at about 0.8, 0.9 of a bar, but we're coming to the midway point of the inversion now. This is when all the internal surfaces are at the max area of exposure. So we've got maximum surfaces touching. Now that's why we use lots of oil, and we take it steady, and we're jiggling the drum, tapping it, and I only ever tie one knot. I don't like two big clunky 6-inch knots trying to get through a 4-inch junner, because every 1% gain you can get, take, because you will need it. Now this is where I think that knot actually got stuck on a junction. It does seem to get stuck. As you can see, we've got a lot of resin in her. We've got that tidal wave, that tsunami of resin being pushed, and that's what we wanted, really. We wanted to seal this properly. They were getting lots of water under the building, and they were getting damp issues. We did dye testing, and it was coming out all over the place. So it was in slab, or very inaccessible. It couldn't have been dug without them moving out. This is where I think the knot got caught. I'm not gonna lie, it was heart in mouth time. We're coming up to 8-9 minutes, so the wet out was say 15 minutes. The roll on, we're at about 30 minutes after mix now. It was a cool day, but still, in hindsight, I probably should have took the vanity off, and I probably should have used a longer working time, maybe a HG120 or a Bravo 3 resin. There we go. So that's it. That's when I think we get a bit of momentum and the knot's gone in the straight again. But even though it's in the straight, we don't rush because we don't want to overrun. Just take it steady. They're a great weaponing your arsenal, these. I mean, they're good for going up stacks. They're good for turning the droppers after BTs into bends, because it means you can do a one-hit wonder from the top of the BT, round the trap, round the deep connection into the main. As long as you've got rope into the downstream manhole, you're good to go. Again, just using that lay flat as reference, and this is our final change in direction. God, love him. Alan was doing a good job. That is hard work, what he was doing there. But like I couldn't actually get to the wheel of the drum. I was stood on the other side of the drum, leaning over it, doing everything in reverse. That's a great shot. So in my experience as well, when we do, like when you shoot any liner with the Cali at the same time, I believe you'd never get your full retraction like as per the manufacturer's specifications. So this liner, usually bang on, shoot your liner, shoot your Cali, 100mm a metre in 6-inch, 1 for 4-inch, and then account for your bends. Not so much your bends in 4-inch, but definitely your bends in 6-inch. So I had 6.5 meters of 6-inch here with a 90, a 45 and the other bend. So traditionally I would have been going at around an 800mm retraction. So when I marked it out, I marked it right on the nose of the plastic inlet. So I had a landing pad of around 800mm with 145 situated in the middle. And I actually chose only to add retraction wise 350mm. Now on the day I was going to add nothing and just know it would land, but I did go for a bit of retraction for the bends, and you're going to see in a minute. Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, tabbies, and when you shoot liners and Calis together, you never get the same rate of retraction you would do a conventional shot, because you're not rolling in multiple times and you're going I don't know the full science behind it, but they just don't. But still, I made sure when I was in the 6-inch, I went high pressure, and that meant I was touching the wall, so I was happy. Now, I think we are coming to the end. This is when it was just basically all about managing the mess in the powder room, really. You can see it's a pretty bad line. It took half a day of jetting. Now this was our goal. We wanted to get this joint. This was the previous plumber's renovation connection point. And full disclosure, I made a mistake with my marking out of the Cali. I treated it like a conventional shot, thinking that the 6-inch could have skewed up an inlet or up an IO, but silly me, it was a guided inversion that would have carried on to the IO that was pulling from. So anyway, yeah, live and learn. Massive congratulations to Alan, the licensing plumber, for having the kahunas to go for this shot and trusting me to do it. And we were rewarded with this absolute money shot at the end. It's about to come. Alan didn't celebrate because he was just too tired. But yeah. With the Cali only going about 4 or 5 inches past, we cooked the bejesus out of her. I would have done that anyway because it's upstream shot and risky. And we cooked her at 50 degrees for an hour, 55 for another 45, and then finished her off at 60 for another half an hour, then cooled her for 45 minutes. So if you want to add this skill into your arsenal, don't believe watching this video, you can do it. You're going to need to be trained by a professional, but it is a fantastic skill to learn that can keep you ahead of the game in the market. So yeah, guided inversions. It's one thing doing in 4-inch, but this is a 3D shot. So call Adam on 0401 276 433 for all training needs. Contact me on LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook. Have a great day, and I hope this free information helps. See you later.